Greetings to everybody who is on Facebook Live. I'm happy to be with you. I'm privileged to introduce you to the last module of Ambassador Curriculum. My name is Zlatko Musia, and I'm serving in new Department of Trans-European Division. I will now share my screen with you, and we will start the presentation. So, as you know, in last 8 weeks, we are introducing the Ambassador Ministry curriculum. And today, I'm going to talk about the last 7th module, which is called Community Outreach Development. As you know, the Ambassador Ministry is targeting special group of young people, and it's 16 to 21-year-old young people. And it's specifically designed with their needs in mind. And there are 10 main objectives of Ambassador Ministry, and particularly this module, module number 7, it's here to inspire the teens to be involved in the various outreach activities. Already in module 3, we had a topic module on missional lifestyle, and that was one of the objectives for that module. Now that is also, but we are focusing not so much on missional lifestyle, but we are focusing on developing communities, serving people in need in community. And except this objective, this module will also help young people to use their gifts and abilities as they are serving. Also, they will be maybe able to find and to develop vocational skills through serving the community. And probably they will be able to demonstrate the leadership abilities as they are serving their communities and as they are learning how to serve communities. So these are our objectives. And what I can say, I'm really enthusiastic about the Ambassador Ministry because Ambassador Ministry is very, very practical, very biblical, Christ-centered. And as you can see, there are 7 foundations, 7 modules, and all of them are very biblical based and practical. I especially like it modules number 4, 5, 6, 7, for example, number 5 about vocational training, very practical about how to find your vocation, how to find your calling, how to work, how to keep Sabbath and work in good balance, and many other practical topics. Also, the last module about godly relationships, very, very important and practical topics addressing the needs of young people in this age group. And today we are introducing the last module, and it's module about community development, how to be involved in community development. And what also I like about the Ambassador Ministry that is produced by GCU department, it's the fact that it is very, the way how it functions, it's holistic, and it's very, what young people really need. And these 4 essential elements are very important. We are not only teaching young people to learn something, we are creating environment for them that will be the best for them to grow. So one element is spiritual companion. At the beginning of each module, each participant will choose a friend who will be their companion for the duration of that module. They will meet during each session to encourage and support each other in their role and growth as an ambassador. So they need to have some kind of friend, spiritual companion. And the second element is individual discipleship plan. At the beginning of every module, each young person develops, each participant make a simple plan how they want to grow spiritually and how they want to acquire practical skills connected with this module. So for every module, they develop individual discipleship plan, and spiritual companion is here to help them, assist, or encourage them to follow their own plan. The third essential element is projects. So each module will have a project, group project. Them as a group will create a project related to the module, and they will together work on implementation of this project. And then finally, not less important, are social activities. We should ensure that every month, at least once a month, there are social activities in the nature, some kind of fun, good recreational activities for them to be together, to spend time together, and to love each other and to become better friends. So these four essential elements are not to be forgotten by putting focus only on intellectual knowledge. As you know, our outcomes are not only, they should also be holistic. So related to the head, it's intellectual knowledge. Related to the hands, it's their practical skills, learning practical skills. And finally, related to the heart, it's about the commitment. It's about commitment to biblical values. And we should search and look for all these outcomes in our young people, so to have holistic approach. And the ministry is called Ambassador. So the core idea behind Ambassador ministry, it's this motto. You will find this motto at every lesson, at the bottom of every page. I'm an ambassador for another world. We are helping our young people to have this special calling to say, I'm ambassador of Jesus. And that's really privilege. We are ambassadors of somebody who is special. We are representing his government, his world, his kingdom. And we are bringing attention to his beautiful character, which has been misapprehended. People don't think that Jesus and God is something special. God has been accused for values that are not God's values. And as an ambassador, I want to reflect Jesus and live the values of his word. And I want to show that Jesus is something special. And that's a privilege. So that's the core idea of ambassador ministry. And what's interesting, the model number 7, this last module, development, community development, involvement in the community, serving community, is the best way to represent Jesus. The best way how we can show attention to Jesus' beautiful character is by living like him, by loving people, by practical service to the people in need and to our communities. And young people often leave the church disappointed because the church is not serving the community. So this is very important module to show, yes, church wants to serve community. And young people usually wants to see the church take stand against injustice, all kinds of injustice in the society. Also, the involvement in community projects will help young people find their vocation, spiritual gift, leadership skills. So it will help them with other modules, with other goals, with other objectives. And what's also interesting, when they are actively involved in service, that will help them have a resilience against bad behaviors, at-risk behaviors. So it helps them by being involved in the service, community service. Young people will be more able to cope against temptations of all kinds of at-risk behaviors. So I think that this module 7, it's very, very important. And this module has 2 main components. The first one, which I will talk the most, it's this model is focusing on how we can live our faith in tangible ways in a society, in community, seeking to be the hands and feet of Jesus as we live his love in a tangible ways. And these lessons will provide an overview of very good ministry philosophy, which is called Christian community development. So the first 7 sessions will deal with Christian community development ministry philosophy. And so I will now go to the first session out of 7 sessions that are in this area. And the first session is giving overview of community development outreach and this ministry philosophy. Also, this lesson will provide a quick introduction to the key components of this philosophy, and it will encourage us to consider how these principles can be applied in the communities through our churches. And also this lesson will talk about the example from the lives of John and Vera Mayer Perkins, who were very active in the civil rights struggle in America in 60s of last century. As we said before, ambassador ministry is very practical ministry and very biblically based. So every module, every session will have strong biblical foundation, many biblical texts and biblical concepts in order to develop. So, for example, in the session 1, it's very important to show that community development, serving community is something that is really, that is so important for Christian life. It was important in Jesus' ministry, and it should be important for Christians and for the church. How can we be part of bringing the heavenly experience on earth? How we can, Jesus came to bring an abundant life. And Jesus wants, when he comes back to bring a new heaven and earth that is full of prosperity, justice, and joy. How we can help as a church, as individuals, to bring this on earth? This is the main question. And as we said, we will share in the first session the story, how Christian community development movement in America began. In fact, entire ambassador ministry is full of stories and examples. And that's very important to bring to young people, not only theory, but to bring them stories, to bring them practical examples of how to be involved in community. So in particular, Christian community development movement started with John Perkins and his wife, Vera Mayer Perkins. And what's interesting from their story, I don't have time to tell you entire story, but you can find on internet. It's in 60s, the couple left a successful life in California and they moved back to their original city in Mississippi, and they started to develop their community. So in 12 years, John Perkins and his wife helped start daycare center, youth program, a church, cooperative farm, a thrift store, housing repair ministry, health center, and an adult education program. Also, they were fighting for involvement of Black community to the society and for justice for them. And despite being a third grade dropout, Perkins has been recognized for his work with 16 honorary doctorates. And later in his life, he has served on the boards of directors of World Vision, Prison Fellowship. He was also serving on the presidential task forces of 5 US presidents, and he's author of 17 books. And what's important, he lived the principles of this philosophy, and he was blessed through that. So let's say, what are the key components of this ministry philosophy? The first one is relocation, living in the community in which one is ministering. Second one is reconciliation, being reconciled with God. We now work on reconciliation with one another. The third one is redistribution, creating equal opportunities for everybody. And then the fourth one is church-based. The church is foundation from which all programs, community development programs, emanates. And the next one is listening to the community. We should listen what the community feels are their needs, and we should look for their assets, how they can help to help themselves. Then the community development should be holistic, comprehensive. And the final two are about leadership development and empowerment, developing future leadership among those who are in the community and helping, empowering them that they can find their gifts and serve with their gifts and with their assets. Not that somebody from outside comes to serve them, but that they serve. These are 8 main components of ministry philosophy. And now in next 6 modules, 6 sessions, we are taking one of these. So 2 of them, this curriculum will not deal with. directly, but 6 of these components are the parts of the curriculum for this last module. So the session 2, it's about church-based development of the community. This lesson helps the participants understand the central role of the church in any community development outreach effort, and to see the value of church in community, and to understand what is biblical understanding of the church. So there are texts that we are dealing with biblical foundation, the church as salt and light, the church that is called to work not only for spiritual reformation, but also for social justice, and the church that is in a way working for God, who really cares for the people in need and for their justice and for their abundant life. What is the problem that we have related to this session and to this principle? The problem is that the church is often self-focused, self-serving. It's not involved in developing communities. We are focused on ourselves. And often we are open only once or twice a week as a church, and we are almost irrelevant to the needs of the people in communities that we serve. And then it happens that at the same time, some parachurch organizations or secular organizations have started to do a work of loving their neighbor that the church has neglected. And young people are tempted to do their community involvement not through the church, but through other organizations. But this session is trying to encourage young people to do their community development through the church, because it's practically impossible to do effective holistic ministry that includes also spiritual elements and some other elements without a local church. But when we are talking about the church being the important agent in the community development, there are different ways how we can understand the church. So there are 3 main ways. The first one is doing ministry, church being in a community. What does it mean? It means we have a building located in a community. However, we have little to do with the community life of neighbors. We are like a fortress. We are there, but we are not involved in the community. The second way how we can relate to the community is doing ministry to community or for a community. So we are located in community, we offer service for community, but we decide which programs and services we will offer to community, and also the ownership of programs and services is held by us. People who are in the church, they are helping people in community. And the third model, which this ministry philosophy is advocating and encouraging young people to see, it's doing ministry with the community. And it means we are integral part of the community. In our programs, we utilize the gifts of the community. Decisions about the programs and services are made together with the community, and they have the ownership. We share the ownership with the community. So this is the second session about how the community development should be church-based, and in which way the church should communicate with the community and serve community. As we said, it's very important to show good examples. There are several examples in the curriculum that you can share with young people about how to serve the community, or you can find some local examples. Now we go to the third principle and third session, and this session is dealing with the principle of relocation. This lesson will explain the principle of relocation, and also it will show different types of relocators. So biblical foundation for relocation, it's Jesus' incarnation primarily. He came from heaven to live among us. He became one of us. He lived here. He shared the suffering of the humanity. He didn't commute back and forth to heaven. He was here with us. Another biblical foundation, it's Moses and his relocation. He needed to go away from the nice life that he had, and to experience different lives, so that later when he will serve the Jewish community, who are servants, who are slaves, that he will learn how what it means to be. So relocation is physically living amongst those in need, in under-resourced communities. It's being with them. It's a gift of presence, being there to walk through life together, sharing the suffering, sharing the pain of others. So this is relocation. And there are three main types of relocation. The first one is relocator, person who moves into community from outside, who has never lived in that community before. The second one is returner, like Perkins family. They return back to a community where they were born and raised, but community that they left for a time. So they choose to return and to serve. And the third type, it's a remainer. It's somebody who is born and raised in the community and maybe has possibility to leave that community, but intentionally stays in the community to be part of the solution to the problem surrounding them. So there are three types, and whatever type you choose, it's going to be hard. Relocation is hard. The essence of relocation is to sacrifice your commodity in order to be close to the people. But relocation is the best way to serve, because by relocating ourselves, we will understand most clearly the real problems facing the poor people. We will develop relationship with them. They will perceive us as one of them. And by knowing them, we will start to respect them. We will see that they have gifts, and we will involve the community in our work. So we will serve together with them. So this is the principle of relocation. And from that principle, when we live together with them, we start to listen them. So we come to the next session. Session number 4, it's listening to the community. This session, what I like with this session, it's full of exercises, full of activities. In fact, entire ambassador curriculum, it's not only about sharing the knowledge, it's about involving them through different exercises, activities. And I will try to share a few of them through this one. But first, to tell something about listening to the community. The problem is that too often communities are developed by outsiders that bring in resources without taking into account the community itself. We often focus on what we think they need, and we focus on their weaknesses and needs. So we are bringing what we feel they need, and we have something, and we serve them who are weak, needy. So this is problem when we approach the community in such a way. But community, Christian community development philosophy tries to put focus that we listen to the community, that we listen what are their needs. So this is called felt needs. We listen what they feel they need, what kind of change they need. The community decides together with us what needs to be changed. And we don't focus on their weaknesses, we focus on their assets. So we not only ask what they want to be changed, we see what they have, what tools they already have, what strengths they have that can help them, help all of us, helping and addressing these needs. And this approach affirms the dignity of individuals in the community. It encourages engagement of the community, and it develops the sense of ownership, because we recognize that everyone has something to offer. And there are several exercises, as we said. I like this one: head, hands, heart, treasure hunt. So you bring young people and you say to them they need to bring 6 of their gifts, 2 gifts related to the head, 2 gifts related to their hands, practical skills, and 2 gifts related to their heart. So then they write their skills, their gifts, and they bring to the table, they discuss with each other what are their gifts. And then at the end, you discuss with them what is the atmosphere when they are sharing their gifts, not their weaknesses. How it's a much nicer atmosphere when they share with each other what gifts they have, what they can contribute and bring to the table. And through this exercise, we are encouraging young people that they focus on the gifts of the community, not on the weaknesses of community, because they feel how nice that is. There are other exercises here, also homework, prayer walk. It's very good. They have opportunity to go through the exercise of listening and learning conversation, different questions that they can ask each other, which will help them, that the same questions can be asked in the community when they go to ask community what are their needs. So there is a lot of exercises. And so that was session 4, and we go now to the session 5, which is redistribution. Redistribution is redistributing of economic, social, educational, and relational resources in order to create equal access and opportunity for all community. In this session, it's important to show that in the Bible, even the economic system of Old Testament was created in such a way that all resources are more equally distributed, so that the gap between rich and poor is as small as possible. So that was economic system, but also there was encouragement for those who have more to help and care for those that have less. So there is a strong biblical foundation for this principle. There are nice questions and exercises. For example, does our planet have a resource problem or distribution problem? Usually people will say we don't have a resource problem. We have enough resources, but distribution is the problem. So there is important to discuss this. And there is another game that I like. It's a bin game. So each person in a group gets a cup with a certain number of beans in the cup. Some gets more, some gets less. And then they play rock, paper, scissors game. And whoever wins get the bean from the loser. But what is interesting, if the winner has less beans than the loser, he needs to win twice. So it's difficult. If you have less, you need to win twice in order to get the bean from another. If the loser has servants, so if the loser has no more beans, he becomes servant. And then as a servant, he goes with the one who has more beans. And if the loser has servants, he or she first gives up a servant to the winner. So just a little bit about the game. And the role of this, the purpose of this game is to understand that it's very difficult to go from low. When you have less resources, it's very difficult to get more. It's very difficult to advance. And then that young people start to feel how it feels when you are a servant, when it's not just the redistribution, when you get less at the beginning, and how that can apply for our development in community. And finally, the session 6, it's about empowerment. The Bible teaches empowerment, not dependency. It's about learning them, not only to get help, but to learn how they can work. Not only to give them fish, but to learn them how to fish and how to take care of their own bone. And there are many examples of empowerment. You know, you cannot help a butterfly by assisting butterfly to come out of cocoon. You will destroy their strength, and you have to just make allow them to come out alone. They need to be empowered to use their strengths, gifts, what they have. So in this session, there is they talk about the difference between relief, betterment, empowerment, and system change. So our development, involvement in community, it's not only give them what they need, like relief, help when disaster comes. It's about much more. It's about empowering them and changing the system. And finally, the session 7 deals with the holistic. And it provides an overview of the component of holistic from Christian community development philosophy of ministry. It will also help tie all the previous lessons in this module together. So related to holistic, it's important to understand that there is a never simplistic answer to the problems in poor communities. There are many, many components. And the holistic approach is difficult because there are so many aspects to personal life. There are spiritual aspects, social life, economic, political, cultural, emotional, physical, moral, and others. And the church must be involved in every aspect of persons' lives. And not only this, the church cannot do alone. That's the reason why we need to partner with others, because it's so complex. During this session, it's also good to share the work of ADRA and how the work of ADRA is holistic community development. So 7 sessions are dealing with this ministry philosophy called Christian community development. And then there is something that is encouraged for you to organize, and that's emergency preparedness training. This is to help young people learn what to do before, during, and after an emergency, disaster. We do not have a standardized emergency preparation training because each country operates differently. But we encourage leaders to contact their conference or union or ADRA office to see if they have any organized training. And if not, then they can contact their local, let's say, Red Cross or any other organization that can arrange for them and have seminar for them. So, but we believe that it's very nice and very good for young people in this age to learn these essential skills, what to do before, during, and after all kinds of disasters and emergency. And we believe that you as leaders will, in cooperation with your conference or union or ADRA office, be able to organize these seminars, maybe at the local conference level, to do together for more groups, not only for one church. So that was a short introduction to community outreach development. The last module of the Ambassador Ministry. I can say, I would like to encourage you, go to YouthAdventist.org webpage. Find this is GC Youth Ministry Department webpage. Find out more. You can download there the curriculum, all information, all lessons for free, and you can start to use it. If you have more questions about this module or any other module, or generally about the Ambassador Ministry, go to the Facebook page where you are now. Be free next days and next hours to ask the questions, and we will be more than happy to answer what we know to answer. And I would like to encourage all of you leaders, even if you are not using an Ambassador curriculum, consider using it and use the resources. You can take resources in your youth groups, even if you don't have Ambassador Ministry. But I believe in my part of the world, in Europe, this Ambassador Ministry is not used so much. I would especially like to encourage people in Europe to use this ministry more, because it's very biblical, very practical, and it's addressing the special needs of young people from 16 to 21 years old. And I wish you all the blessings in serving this specific group of young people. May God bless you, and thank you for following Ambassador training program in the last 8 weeks. May God bless you.